Okay, welcome back to the next module in our algorithm in NeuroGraphica, algorithm number 2, composition and modeling, or rather we actually started with modeling and now we're doing composition. Welcome to the next module where we're going to discuss more about what is modeling and composition in NeuroGraphica is. As you see that in each module I'm bringing out different aspects. I want to tell you, this is one of the most complicated algorithms among all the algorithms. After this algorithm, seriously, all the algorithms, you're going to be like, this is it, like this is what I'm teaching you is high school, and all the other algorithm is like middle school. Just so you understand, this is very serious, but it's important for me to teach you this algorithm because conquering this algorithm, knowing what it's about, it's going to give you an easier time. You'll be able to focus more on what you need in other algorithms. Okay, you will understand it. It will come easier to you. So I want to focus on something interesting in this module, okay? Let's figure something out, okay? I want you to focus on this part. This algorithm is about the 3 parts, okay? 3 areas, 3 directions we're going into, okay? This is a human being. Each human being undergoes certain areas and transformations would be the right word when we start drawing we start planning and figuring out the composition and modeling, okay? So personal philosophy in life, okay? Part number 1 will be personal philosophy in life, okay? This is the 3 aspects that are involved. 3 aspects involved in modeling and composition, okay? Okay, so personal philosophy, okay, in life. So what is personal philosophy in life? That would be, for example, your morals, your deep inner, I wouldn't say just thoughts, but who you are inside. Morals, ethics, okay? Balance, it's more about like balance of intelligency and personal behavior, okay? It's like, why do you do what you do, okay? I want you to understand that. Okay, the way you behave in life, why do you do that? Why when you wake up in the morning, you do certain things, Why when you go to school or to work or to, you behave a certain way? When you walk on the street, do you smile at people or do you look around or do you think about your thoughts? When you meet people, do you smile at them or do you just shyly say hello and just move on? Or do you, abruptly say, well, good morning to you? Why do you do the things you do? This is what it's all about, okay? It's your thoughts and beliefs, okay? And associated actions with them, okay? Okay, practical actions, what you do in reality. Thoughts and belief is what's in your head, so to say. It's what's inside of you. And action is what comes out based on them, okay? Now, the next aspect we're discussing is what's called in the field, just like the first one we call philosophy, this is psychology, okay? And I'm using a lot of academic words, but I want you to kind of understand where it's coming from. Psychology is actually the study of the person's inner self, the study of the person's soul. And I would say a lot of it is based, I would say like psychology is a study of a human soul, okay? And a lot of you actually would argue and say the study of the human soul is more like spiritual, right? So, and I would tell you, what psychology is actually a combination of spiritual and emotional, okay? If excuse me, over here you can explain to me why you do what you do, like I smile at people because I'm an extrovert and that's my predisposition, or the opposite. I talk shyly to people because that's my predisposition and that's what I do. Over here, you can't really bring much logic, but a lot of it is like, remember that nature versus nurture argument one point in psychology and in science people had? So over here, spiritual and emotional, it's like saying, I don't know, I was born like that. I was born with a certain smiling tendency or short or, more moodiness, or I was born, looking around, like if we take something like more extreme, we would say, how some people are born with the ability to see shades and auras, that's more spiritual and emotional, I would say. That people are more connected to the spirituality. So that's interesting, it's very, very interesting. This is like emotional IQ, like I said, and personal psychology, it also involves management of personal and mental, actually I would say more emotional mind, okay? And actually mental too. I'll explain to you why. Because your emotions, really what do emotions do? How people say that person is not capable of controlling their emotions. So what does controlling emotions mean? Being able to take the thought that, oh my God, this person is bugging me, but not turning into let me scream at that person so he gets off my back. But rather turning away and just leaving. You see what I'm saying? Like if somebody cuts you off on the road, you're driving, being able to control your emotion, being able to manage, not control, the right word would be manage your personal and mental emotional mind, would be not starting to saying, oh, he cut me off, I'm going to cut him off. Some people do that, and that's okay. They're in the process. We're trying to say that a maturity that comes with certain, growth process and consciousness will bring in the management of the personal, mental, and emotional mind. And of course, we know that associated with that is understanding that, let's say, that person cut me off. Maybe he was actually rushing somewhere. Maybe his wife is giving birth. Maybe there's some kind of emergency situation. Things happen. Let it go. See what I'm doing? That's psychology, right? When somebody tries to talk to themselves and calm themselves down and give yourself a management on the personal, mental, emotional level, that's called psychology, okay? That's aspect 2 when we do modeling. And aspect 3 is architecture. And this is the most interesting mystical part, right? Because if before personal philosophy, a lot of people are aware of it, psychology, people are aware, philosophy and psychology are both subjects that a person takes in regular college. I mean, even in high school, I teach in high school now, and they have psychology classes, really, I was very impressed. I think that's amazing. So what happens with architecture? It's not something where people are aware of, right? Architecture class, nobody takes them unless you're planning to become an architect. But here's what I'm going to surprise you, that we do have architectural tendencies in all of us. Let me ask you something. Did you ever play with blocks when you were a child? If you ever played with blocks when you were a child, guess what? You took an architecture class, okay, in early childhood. And that's what it is. In our modeling, and we actually started, we are actually doing this. In our modeling class, what we're going to touch upon is the basics of architecture. The basics of what it's like, what happens when you decide to, to create something. You want to bring a certain energy, certain elements into your life. What you're going to do is you're going to design it, right? I mean, what is architecture? The fancy way for architecture is actual design, right? The scientific word for architecture is engineering, right? Whatever the word is, whatever you decide to do, whatever you want to call yourself, architectures, designers, engineers, artists, right? That's what artists are. Creating an amazing creating something new, creating on the paper, right, is an artist. Well, what we are doing, right, with NeuroGraphica. I mean, people who are dancers, they're creators on the stage, right? People who are musicians, they're creators in music. Every artist is a creator, and I want you to pay attention to that. So that's amazing. So what we're going to do here in this algorithm is creating on a paper and in reality. Okay, I want you to pay attention to that. So these are the three aspects that we talked about, and this is the three aspects that we will work with once we start modeling and understanding how composition works, okay?